interesting thing is when I was at Morgan, and I was with the players, Steve. I think Steve Jenkins. I think Steve played for Spingarn. No, he played for Mackin. It was a school called Mackin Catholic School. It was a powerhouse Catholic school. It was like Archbishop Curl.
Okay.
And DeMatha. Had a guy named Kenny Payne could play. He was my guy. I would, hang out with those guys. Sid Lowe, Derek Wittenberg at some of the tournaments we go to. I circling back to the question, I just wanted to make sure that my paperwork was in order, that if I went to school, I was going to graduate. I was at Morgan, so we would do two-a-days. You know what that is, right? Of course. And then our coach sometime would have us meet him at the gym. Billy Newton, who was on a team with Marvin Webster, and Morgan won their national championship, would have us practice at 12 o'clock sometime. I was, a freshman. I'm dumb. I'm taking 8 o'clock classes.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Right. So, practice was ruling. You're battling. Then after classes, I guess around 3 or 4 o'clock, you would have practice. Go eat. Go take a nap. Whatever. Then you got the 12 o'clock. You was doing two-a-days that way. And a lot of the guys were flunking.
It's hard to balance that schedule.
They were flunking. One guy, man, it was almost like I had to read the press clippings to him.
Really?
Right? The literacy level, right? We were talking about
Yep.
literacy, and some guys didn't have the literacy, and of course they were taking their 100 courses, which was the very basic course you could take before the 101.
Get by. They need to have some eligibility. Right. So I mean,
there you go.
We can't give them anything more than basket weaving. Or you're not
that's
gonna
right.
Make it.
That's right. Taking something like golf or creative art, something of that nature, right? Like you said, keep them eligible. And just to be transparent, I was also on academic probation. The bridge at Morgan.
So what was it? I was just getting ready to say, was it because you weren't focused or the work was hard? It was
2-a-days. The work wasn't hard because I was pretty smart.
Sure.
I had to carry my weight at Cardinal Gibbons.
Okay, of course.
And we was just talking about the other day, a guy, Rasul Muhammad, Pat McKinley. I was telling him how tough some teachers were. Coach Ray Mullis was mad at a couple teachers because he was like, well, how did he fail? And it was his player. How does he fail? I never failed at Cardinal Gibbons until my senior year. One of the teachers who got me through summer school was Mr. Phil Forte. But getting back to the story, I was on academic probation, and then I got redshirted through an injury. And I sat out in front of Holmes Hall, and I looked out, and I said, a lot of times you could be found wherever you are if you're good. But I don't think I'm that good to be found here to go to the next level, right? That was my thinking. Not saying that wasn't a possibility, but that was my thinking. I said, I'm going to become a student. So I focused on my academics because I was on academic probation, which means that if you don't get it right the next semester, you're out the door, right? What's more important, my degree or playing basketball? And if I am playing basketball, what are my chances of getting to the next level? What's going to help me get to another level in a different pathway other than my credentialing? Right, and so I always talk to the guys I got to get my degree,
right,
and that's what I focused on. Was getting my degree,
and that's fair. I mean, I didn't get my degree, so definitely I have admiration for anybody that sits down and goes through that grueling process.
Never too late, my
brother. No, I'm not saying it is.
My father got his master's at 85.
Okay. Shout out to Pops. That's impressive.
And he's in school now, Liberty University, or doing an online program.
Well, look, it sounds like I don't have any excuse, so maybe I need to look into that.
And let me help you if you need my assistance. I'm here to help you, brother.
We don't need to talk about anything else.
They always tease me saying I got more degrees than a thermometer.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and borrow one from him then, so we can get this out the way.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I mean, you're master educator. You've gone through the gauntlet at college, and congratulations for that. This big blue thing you got right here. I mean, I know people are like, what is that right there? So can you explain? Because there's another gentleman that's part of a fraternity, and I was talking to him about it, and they were saying there were some negative connotations surrounding some of the fraternities. So I would like for you to bring some positive light to it real quick.
So the negative connotation is probably the pledging aspect, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. But there's a lot of, if anybody search who's who of Phi Beta Sigma, and if you search who's of any of the Divine Nine, you would be surprised at who you would see there. There are powerhouses, right? And in terms of Phi Beta Sigma, James Weldon Johnson, Lift Every Voice and Sing, was Phi Beta Sigma. John Lewis, Phi Beta Sigma. Huey P. Newton, Phi Beta Sigma. And I mean, there's a plethora of folk in every category, from military to teaching. This may blow your mind.
Come with it.
William Clinton, former president, Beta
Bill,
Sigma.
not Bill Clinton himself.
Yes, Tricky Dick Bill. He is one. We got Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
Who was the president in Africa.
Yes, sir.
We have a bunch of guys who, if you look at the who's who, and I challenge you to do that, you'll be surprised at who you say. And I would say that for the Megas, for the Kappas, for the Alphas, or any of the sororities, you'll be surprised at who you'll find, from actors to actresses, from politicians, from educators, you will find. And so there's a brotherhood and a sisterhood, I think, that's international, that can be a benefit if someone wanted to go that way. And I know that for example, you have to go through a training program before you even pledge someone, because a lot of the sororities and fraternities, some have gotten caught up in civil suits.
Right.
But it's just not about that. And I think that's the thing that people really get screwed up about, and that is thinking it's about, the hazing. It's not about that. It's about how we can network, how we can push each other to another level, making sure that I am my brother's or sister's keeper, and bringing them along and helping them grow and develop. And we do a lot of outreach, community outreach. And so that's one of the biggest pieces for a lot of them, is the community service and things like that. And so, of course, I am pushing Phi Beta Sigma, if anybody's interested, or Zeta Phi Beta. We're the only Divine Nine group that's constitutionally bounded.
Okay.
Legally constitutionally bounded. So they are our sisters. The other ones are stepchildren to other organizations they adopted.
Well, look, I hope y'all appreciated some of that education there, because obviously Adrian can't tell you any about that. I'm gonna have to look in a little bit more because Bill Clinton, this is over here blowing my mind right now. Bill Clinton. So
Al Sharpton is Phi Beta.
Really? So I guess I could relate that to me being a Marine, and that brotherhood in the Marines, and then obviously to get to the level of becoming a Marine, there's going to be some hazing involved.
That's right.
If you would. Right?
That's right.
And so I would kind of say that it may be the same thing, and then just like in the Marine Corps, there's
you earn your stripes.
Well, yeah, you definitely gonna do that, but there may be a drill instructor or two that may take it a little further.
That's right.
Than what another one would. So that's
true.
How I kind of like would associate that. So, that's that. Let's move on past that. And another big thing that he talked about here, and the 410 show is all about this here, is the community and helping the kids. And so that brings me to, like, what is on the docket for you here coming up? Because I think you were running for something.
I was running for school board, elected school board in Baltimore City. And I've always, over 40 years, either coaching or starting schools, work with young people. They are our golden asset for our future, to maintain a level of achievement we gotta put into them. As a matter of fact, I was at my good friend, I was one of his original board members, Uncle T, Terry Williams, was at an event he invited me out to last night, and it was violent prevention. He's doing a fantastic job with young people, taking guns out of their hand. Monzi was there, and working with them on conflict resolution. The gun shouldn't be the first choice.
Sure.
How do you settle your differences without ruining your life? I worked for the last 7 years as director of student support, working with kids who have 504s, IEPs, and autism. And let me tell you, kids with autism, 504s, and IEP are very bright. It just means they learn differently.
Yes, sir.
Of course, there's a stigma. Oh, you got an IEP, you got a 504, you're autistic. But some of your brightest people have had those, and you can look up some of those people. Some of them are running Fortune 500 companies, and some of them, one of them is a billion who had a learning difference. And one of them is a president who we know had an IEP. But I don't say that in a derogatory way, but I'm just saying you could tell he learns and he acts differently in terms of his emotional regulation.
Sure. So, I mean, and that's very, very noble. I can't even tell you how impressed I am that's where life is taking you. And, you know, anything I can do to help out, please let the 410 show know. You know, we're on deck out the gate. And we have a couple things that we're trying to get done over here at the 410. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, Wanda, we're going to get done down here at the 410 show. And I would love to see if there's a way for us to kind of combine forces on some of this stuff, Dr. Parsons, because, like I said, I want to build this community up. It's the 410 show. My goodness gracious. That's what I love. I love right here, and I hate to see all the negativity, and I hate to hear about all this negativity. So anytime I can get any positive news, any positive information, any positive people, I want the people to know about it the best I can.
And let me say this. Let me thank you, number one, for the invite, but I also want to thank you for your vision and your willing to give back. And there's something I think I need to say.
Thank you.
And this is very important. I heard you said you didn't finish. It would be an accolade for you to go back. But there are a lot of people, like a Bill Gates, who didn't finish, right? So we can't always measure our success by a collegiate path.
Sure.
There's some people who've gone in other vocations and done extremely well and done good for the community or for themselves and their family. So a lot of times we can't measure ourselves that way, and we shouldn't. But I'm just very appreciative to have met you and to know you and to know what you're trying to do, man, because you are really making it happen and you're very sincere about what you're doing. And, you know, just to come back and want to give back is very noble. So I really appreciate you and honor you. Actually, I should be interviewing you.
Oh, come on, Dr. Parsons. I really appreciate those kind words. I am doing what I can down here, and obviously him talking about that leads me to this. I can't do it without y'all. We need to subscribe, we need to share, we need to like, and we need to definitely get
and share
it with everybody.
That's right.
And I'm not asking for donations. I need you to do this right here. That's going to help us bring the money into the community to give back to these kids that we're talking about.
He didn't ask. I'm going to ask for donations because you have not, because you ask not. Right? And that's one of the things I had to learn as a politician, because I was afraid and I felt embarrassed to ask people for money. But that's how politicians get elected. They have big fundraisers. They ask for money. They make what we call money calls and things like this. So I'm putting out a money call. If this is going to grow, 410 is going to grow, and if we're talking about Black Dollars Matter, and we're talking about Black Wall Street, and we're talking about supporting each other, then put your money where your mouth is.
Can't say it any better than that. And I'll tell you what, and if they're wondering, like, well, what do we do to get up with this gentleman? You can go to the 410show.com. Most certainly send me an email there. And also, you can just go right to the YouTube page, shoot me a comment. I'll get back to you. But if none of those options work for you, I have something planned. So if you stay tuned here in just a couple of weeks, you can come boots on the ground right next to me. And there's something special that we can do together. So you're going to get the details, and we can do it that way as well. But my passion is going to be the same either way. And whether you donate or don't donate, once again, your support is what I'm looking for. And that's all I want, is us to support the 410 and everything surrounding us so we can raise it up.
That's right. So like the church, we're looking for time, talent, and please send your treasures.
Absolutely. Dr. Parsons.
Yes, sir.
Thank you once again.
Yes, thank you, sir.
If y'all don't know, Dr. Parsons, one of the great community leaders here in Baltimore. Check him out. If he's ever around, make sure you give him his flowers. He's definitely out here helping us out, holding us down here in the 410. Once again, thanks for your time. Catch y'all soon. Thank you, dog.
Yes, sir. Thank you.